size process in your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some pubic hairs right in here. Could they be yours?
No, that's not. I didn't do anything out there.
Did she?
No.
But you think they could?
No, it's not. No. Nothing on mine.
For Daniel, though, this absolutely would affect his rep, as the DNA tests on the hair found in the car came back as a perfect match, and statements given by his girlfriend directly contradicted his story. So after the interrogation, he was placed on administrative leave, but just 2 months later, 12 more women came forward with claims.
Oh, these are like crackheads, cuz.
And he was subsequently arrested.
Verdict, count 1, battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime.
Ugly. Fuck. What the hell? What the helly? No, I am finna take a blinker though. We got that sprinkles. With a bit of cotton candy crush with vapor boost. Ooh, you know this shit fake. What the helly? I got a whole haircut. Y'all don't even know for real. I couldn't even tell. It definitely time to switch up the barbers. You know what I'm saying? That nigga trash. Nah, let me stop playing. That my boy. That my boy for sure. My boy. God damn, that shit fake.
Corrupt, evil, and even criminal cops. But what happens to cops who actually get caught? These are 4 examples of cops who realized they were going to jail. Starting with Tyler Moody, who was about to get the shock of his life after being brought into the interrogation room.
Have you offered your resignation or not?
I can keep my job and no.
Well, you can't keep your job, okay?
An inmate charged with murder was discovered with a mobile phone and charger. When questioned, Tyler immediately folded and confessed to what he'd done. He expected to just get fired, but he was about to discover providing contraband comes with a
boy got iPhone 15s in Rice Street, I swear to God. If Fulton County, the boy got iPhone 15, they might have a 16 in that bitch, you know what I'm saying? Them boys having money in that bitch from behind the walls, you know what I'm saying? If you got money on the outside, you got money on the inside. That plain and simple.
Much bigger punishment.
Of every citizen that we have the privilege to serve, and you've betrayed the trust of the brave and selfless men and women that you've worked alongside for nearly 3 years. So as of this moment, you're under arrest for bringing a prohibited item, a cell phone, into a correctional facility. That's a 3rd-degree felony.
Providing a prisoner with a mobile phone carries a sentence of 1 year in prison. And that's exactly where Tyler is right now, serving it in exactly the same place that he used to patrol as a cop. But unlike Tyler, Stephanie Lazarus didn't get off nearly as easy.
Now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
After decades of investigations, DNA evidence revealed that Stephanie was very likely the culprit of a murder committed in 1986. Because of the high-stakes nature of the case, the detectives made sure to meticulously plan this interrogation. Stephanie was a really successful detective herself, and she had recently received recommendations for her good work on a theft case. So the detectives used this and brought her in under the guise that they needed help with a case.
I don't want to talk about this in the squad room because I don't know who people are listening. And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is doing.
No problem.
Okay.
An interrogation room is a strange place for such a conversation to take place, so to put her mind at ease, detectives told her this was the place they'd least be likely to be overheard, as the case details were strictly confidential. Sherry Rasmussen's body had been found at her home after being shot 3 times. At the time, police suspected the murder was a result of a burglary gone wrong, but the case went cold when they couldn't identify the suspect. However, 23 years later, when revisiting the case, detectives found evidence that led them towards Stephanie, a girl who had been trapped in a love triangle with Sherry and her husband, John Rutten. So the detectives decided to bring up John's name to see how she'd react.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends.
Yeah?
I mean, what's this all about?
It's a case we're working on. It involves John, and in there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were good friends. Lived in the dorms for 2 years.
Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. You know, I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
Both the detectives and Stephanie have tried to seem as friendly and relaxed as possible around each other, but Stephanie is obviously starting to get very anxious at this point. Even though the detectives gave a somewhat believable excuse, she is now in an
I mean, shit. They ain't said you did shit. You the one that's made it seem like you did something. Then nobody said you do a damn thing. So, like, damn.
faced by two detectives being questioned about a girl she supposedly murdered 20 years earlier. Her breathing has become faster, and her language is defensive, and her movements have become more erratic.
And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, you know, I got a problem with, you know, with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, you know, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, you know, now you're accusing me of this?
Yep.
Is that what you're saying?
Obviously, you know about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that, you know, gets done on cases nowadays. You know, if we asked you for a DNA
She probably be
swab,
throwing out the papers and shit, the evidence and shit. You know what I'm saying? She probably be going to folks' dresses when they're not at work and shit, throwing away their papers and shit. To hide evidence. That'd be some crazy shit. I ain't gonna cap. That'd be insane.
Maybe. Because now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Stephanie chooses to provide DNA evidence, hoping her willingness to help out would ultimately prove her innocence. But, unfortunately for her, just 5 minutes later, the detectives decide they've heard enough and put her in cuffs.
Damn.
Months later, after a long and arduous trial, a decision was made by the jury.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen. We further find the murder was of the first degree.
Stephanie was sentenced to 27 years in prison after being hit with a single felony charge of first-degree murder. But to this next cop, Jalen Fleer, a single felony charge looks like child's play.
Can I ask, is this something I should have lawyers on?
In April 2020, San Diego police received tips that a man had been engaging in with a local child. 2 months of investigation led directly to Jalen and a mountain of questions that desperately needed answering.
So, I know that
Daniel was brought in for interrogation after a report came in that he'd made an unlawful traffic stop and forced the female driver to remove her clothing and perform on him. What detectives didn't know was that this was just one of dozens of other crimes that Daniel would find himself accused
this
of.
is unnecessary horniness.
No misunderstanding, because and maybe I didn't key in on some things. I want you turn in your activity card, walk me through it all again.
Turn in my activity card, I leave out station, turn off my computer, done for the night, head left to go westbound on 50th from Prospect. About a block down, I see a Grand Prix in the outside lane. I was in the inside lane. Directly in front of me, car swerved. At that time, I kind of fall behind of it. Lincoln, I didn't want to light it up at the stop sign, so I waited till it go forward and just lit it up just to the west. And then that's when I made the traffic stop.
Daniel recounts his version of events from that night. Cops said that he didn't report on the stop dispatch, run a records check on the driver, or even let them know that he just logged off for the night. But Daniel just explains that everything happened so fast he just forgot to do all of that, and made the traffic stop off the grid. However, Daniel doesn't seem 100% sure while recounting this evening. He takes unusually long breaks between statements and speaks in incomplete sentences. The true reality of cases is that it's almost usually impossible to get a conviction as long as there was no video or photo evidence of the event. The victim barely ever has any ability to prove that the suspect did what they did, as in most places they are
like
innocent.
half of the time, I ain't gonna say half of the time, but like a portion of the time they be capping, bro. Like these hoes be out here capping, bro. That shit fucked up, bro. They'll do this shit just to be petty, you know what I'm saying? That shit is lame. That's not player you, shawty. But yeah, they'll do that shit just to be petty, bro. Cause you know hoes is petty. Like when they get mad, they'll want to do some petty ass shit just to make you mad too, bro. Like, come on, bro. Fuck wrong with y'all, bro. Fuck wrong with my space bar,
until
bro.
proven guilty. This is likely why this turned out to be one of 36 charges eventually brought against Daniel, each more disgusting than the last.
CSI is processing your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some pubic hairs right in here. Could they be yours?
No, that's not. I didn't pull my. I didn't do anything right there.
Did she?
No.
But so you think they could be?
No, it's not. No. Nothing of mine.
Alright, so I guess they just pulled his ass out for no reason. They just want to randomly take his ass out of jail. Nigga the worst liar ever. He laughing while he lying like.
No.
But so you think they could be?
No, it's not. No. Nothing of mine.
Your pubes couldn't be?
No.
Right there?
No.
You seemed a little extra worried whenever you talked about seeing her boobies.
Right.
You sure she just didn't flash you?
I can't. She did not. I don't want to say I can't recall, but I'm pretty positive she didn't flash.
I see a pair of titties.
She went like this, but nothing as far as I'm going like crazy looking.
Lifting the shirt.
No. This whole situation and
it's kind of scary.
It is scary, and I don't want my rep to be. Everything's about in law enforcement. I'm 3 years on. I know that, but everything's about your rep.
Absolutely.
And I don't want this to fall on my rep.
Unfortunately for Daniel, though, this absolutely would affect his rep, as the DNA tests on the hair found in the car came back as a perfect match, and statements given by his girlfriend directly contradicted his story. So after the interrogation, he was placed on administrative leave, but just 2 months later, 12 more women came forward with claims.
Oh, these look like crackheads, cuz.
And he was subsequently arrested.
Verdict, count 1, battery. Defendant is guilty of the crime of...
I don't think he did this. But what is good about this? Not trying to shame anybody. But now you're in jail because of this. Out of all these, who looked the best? Not just saying.